What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Campus to Canton YouTube video. For today's show, we're going to be talking about the Elite 11 final. It is going down this week in Los Angeles, California. Cannot wait. This is an absolutely loaded class, and it's been kind of the premier competition for a lot of these quarterbacks. They have gone President Brian Stumpf and his group, Jordan Palmer, Trent Dill, for all those guys have traveled to 12 different regionals this year. They have tried out thousands of quarterbacks. They've whittled it down to just 20. Those 20 are gathering in Los Angeles to kind of meet and compete against each other, the best of the best in the 2023 class, to kind of prove who is the best. And you've got an elite alumni group in this group as well, right? Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Stafford, Jameis Winston, Mark Sanchez, Cade Klubnik last year won it. Like, this is a great competition for quarterbacks, and it is a premier one. So for this show, I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of all of the players in alphabetical order. This is not my ranking of these guys. It's alphabetical order, where they're kind of coming from a recruiting background and what I believe are their strengths for this competition. And then I'll give you guys who I think are dark horses and the players who will likely win this competition. All right, so we're starting off with my guy, Austin NOVOSAD. If you've watched this channel much at all, or if you've heard me on podcasts, you know I am a big fan of Austin NOVOSAD out of Dripping Springs, Texas. He plays at Dripping Springs High School. As you can see here, I mean, velocity, accuracy, pocket passer, very clean mechanics, 6'3", 185, 4-star, currently QB 13 in the composite, and he is committed to Baylor. Now, within recent days, he has gotten offers from Texas A&M and as well as Ohio State. So as of right now, he's going to be going to Baylor. We'll see if that changes, but as of the recording of this video, he's a Baylor commit. I believe, in my opinion, he's a pure pocket passer. Very clean mechanics, ability to throw with timing and touch, has a almost cannon on his arm. Like, I'm not talking about deep ball. I'm talking about just pure velocity right off the rip. You can hear it when the ball pops and hits his receiver hands. Very tight spiral, serious zip, especially in the short and intermediate area. In my opinion, has a very natural and tight throwing motion as well. He is, as I mentioned, a pure pocket passer. Last year, 63.6% of his passes were completed for 3,399 yards and 40 touchdowns. Really comfortable, it seems, sitting in the pocket and delivering from there. I think shows nuance as a passer with his ability to deliver the ball to exactly where it needs to be at all three levels of the field. And in my opinion, has done fairly well getting outside the pocket and hitting his receivers down the field. But that is kind of a knock on him, is that he doesn't show a lot of rushing upside. He doesn't do much with his legs unless it's getting out of the pocket to throw down the field. And some people are curious if whether or not he can add some more weight to his frame. Next up, Avery Johnson out of Kansas. He plays at Mays High School in Mays, Kansas. He is currently uncommitted, though he is down to his final three schools, Kansas State, Washington, and Oregon, and has said that he will announce his commitment on July 5th at 3 o'clock Central on CBS Sports HQ. All three teams, very interesting. Oregon is also in for another top quarterback, and we'll get to him in a minute. But Avery Johnson here, 6'2", 174 star. He is QB 12 in the composite. Did get multiple offers from top teams, but as I mentioned, he is down to his top three. He is extremely athletic, great improviser when it comes to throwing the ball, really good touch throws, and he is a true dual threat. He has legitimate home run speed. If he gets into the open field, there's a chance that he will take it to the house. He tested and has a verified 40 of 4.5. He displays impressive touch on downfield shots and onto the sides of the field as well, to the sidelines. He is great at improvising and is a great improvisational playmaker. Like, when he gets out in the open field, it's not always running. Does a really great job of altering arm slots and arm angles and throwing the ball. Very smooth and repeatable ball as well. Seems to, make it fairly easy for the wide receiver to catch it when he is throwing it accurately, senses pressure, and escapes fairly easily. My biggest kind of things with him is he does struggle to place the ball for his receivers accurately, so that's something he needs to clean up. And I still think he's a little bit raw at the quarterback position. Doesn't mean he can't develop if he goes to the right school. He is a junior. All these guys are just juniors right now, heading into their senior year, so there's a lot to develop. But when you watch him, he is not just a runner. When you hear someone say true dual threat quarterback, you think, okay, he's runner. He's not really going to be that good of a passer. Like, some of his touch throws and his shots down the field are really impressive. Just needs to kind of make those a little bit more consistent. So I really like Avery Johnson, very intriguing prospect. Next up is Brady Drogosh going to Cincinnati. He's got rushing upside, and he throws a beautiful deep ball. 6'4", 200, 3-star. He is a Cincinnati commit, and he is one of those guys I was talking about a little bit further down in the composite. He's currently QB 26 in the composite. There's a couple guys here that will be a little bit lower than probably many expect to be in this competition. He plays at De La Salle Collegiate High School in Warren, Michigan. He is one of the top rushing quarterback threats in this class. He's still a little bit unpolished as a passer. He's had more rushing attempts than pass attempts as a junior, which is not great when we're talking about a quarterback, right? But his arm ability, his arm strength, and ability to get the ball down the field is just incredible. He is really good at that, does show some touch and definitely some velocity getting that ball down the field. But I think he really fits the Cincinnati mold. If you look at these guys, really good runners with the tools are there, right? Like, he's very toolsy. He's got the big arm, really interesting player, but maybe he needs some development. That's almost the exact description of Desmond Ridder and Evan Prater. And those are the guys that are previously at Cincinnati. Evan Prater there right now, which I do think speaks good for Brady Drogosh, as Gino Guladigi, I believe is how you say his name. He was the QB coach who helped develop Ridder, and Evan Prater is now the offensive coordinator for Cincinnati. So he will be there as well, kind of helping Brady and developing him as he gets in there. Going to be a very intriguing fit for him. Next up is Brock Glenn, another uncommitted player. Quick release, smooth delivery, and a very smart passer. He really seems to know where the ball needs to go at all times when it comes to diagnosing defenses. 6'2", 195, 4-star. He is QB 18 in the composite, and he's got multiple offers from schools. Top ones right now include Auburn, Florida State, Ohio State, TCU. Seems to be, those are the schools that are trending right now. Florida State just picked up another player in this class that we're actually about to talk about. Ohio State's got all these other guys coming in as well. So gonna be very intriguing to see what happens with him. But I do think he's a very good player. Has a pretty release, does get the ball up and out fairly quickly. I do think he can improve on his velocity a little bit, as it tends to die on the deeper throws. But he does seem to do a really good job, as I mentioned earlier, just like reading defenses, distributing the ball, wherever it needs to go. He often finds the weaknesses in the defense and attacks that. So he's very intriguing when it comes to that. Just a great, distributor of the ball, that point guard type of quarterback. Going to be very intrigued to see where he goes and how he does in this competition. I mentioned the Florida State commit. That is Chris Parson. Strengths, quick release, smooth delivery, and he is also a very smart passer. He is QB 16 in the composite. Florida State commit, 4-star, 6'5", 200. Chris Parson plays at Ravenwood High School in Brentwood, Tennessee, and this guy can extend plays with his legs outside the pocket like nobody's business. When he gets in the open space, he creates incredibly fun plays to watch. He shows some promising arm talent when it comes to velocity and especially challenging defenders vertically down the field. My biggest fear with him is he does seem to kind of lack some pocket poise and manipulation. Sometimes maybe instead of stepping up into the pocket, he tends to just kind of bail and run because he is so great with his legs. I'd like to see him hang in there a little bit longer. And he does kind of lack consistency with his accuracy. He doesn't really seem to show his ability for touch throws as well. What do I mean by touch throws? You can't just zip every ball into a wide receiver. What's the defensive back all over him, or a linebacker sitting in the middle of the field? You've got to put some touch on it. You got to put a little bit of loft on it to get it over that defender and in stride to your receiving option, whatever that is, running back, wide receiver, tight end. He doesn't show a lot of those. Again, junior, could develop. I think he's a great fit for Florida State and is an intriguing prospect all around, but does have some things to work on. Next up, Christopher VIZZINA, the Clemson commit, 6'4", 207. He is a 5-star QB6 in the composite. He is really good at pocket manipulation, touch passes, a very accurate passer, and an off-platform passer as well. Plays at Briarwood Christian High School in Birmingham, Alabama. In my opinion, he is honestly just an all around good prospect. He's got above average arm strength and velocity. He shows the ability for touch throws, and he is very accurate in the short and intermediate parts of the field and in his game. Very good pocket manipulation and has the ability to get touch yards with his legs tough yards with his legs if needed. What I don't love about him is he does seem to get flustered in the pocket at times and kind of bail out a little bit earlier, maybe kind of make a poor throw. And while he is good in the short and intermediate parts of the field, he does seem to lack accuracy and consistency in his deep ball. He can challenge players vertically and he can get the ball to all three levels, but it's just not that consistent. So very intrigued to see how he does this year as a senior and again going to Clemson and what that offense could do for him. Next up, in all honesty, possibly one of my favorite quarterbacks in this class. He is my QB2 currently. That's Dante Moore. Currently uncommitted, 6'2", 195, 5-star QB4 in the composite. He's got multiple offers. Really seems to be down to Oregon and Michigan at the moment. Was just in Oregon on an official visit. Seemed to be having a great time with Richard Young as well. Pocket manipulation, footwork, pocket passer, and he is a processor. He has got a football brain. It is fun to watch. Plays at Martin Luther King High School in Detroit, Michigan. As I mentioned, might be the most polished QB in this class. He started on the varsity team as a freshman. And for anybody who's played, just think about how rare that is. Typically, freshmen don't start off on varsity. He did. And at the quarterback position, I think that's helped develop him a little bit as a pocket passer. He shows calmness and poise and great pocket manipulation. He steps up, moves out. Like he just seems to find a way to always get away from defenders and be able to make the pass. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but is strong enough to challenge some of the tighter windows in the short and intermediate parts of the field and knows how to pass with touch and lead his receivers well. Very easy, smooth, quick, repeatable release. Very like he is just poster boy for throwing the ball. Really great. If I had to knock him for something, which I guess maybe you have to because nobody's perfect, he doesn't have like the greatest athleticism of other players in this class. He's not going to do much with his legs, but he's so damn good in the pocket. I don't care. Next up, Eli Holstein. He's going to Alabama. QB8 in the composite. He's a 4-star, 6'4", 222. NFL size, athleticism, velocity, very accurate in the short and intermediate parts of the field. Eli Holstein plays at Zachary High School in Zachary, Louisiana, and for his size, he is actually very athletic, and he shows everything you need when it comes to passing in the short intermediate parts of the field, whether it comes to touch, velocity, whatever it is, arm angles, whatever you're looking for, he can do it. He can challenge defenses vertically as well. Actually hits all three levels of the field pretty easily and is an extremely efficient passer. I do think his lower mechanics need to be worked on a little bit. His legs don't always seem to work in concert with his upper body at times, something that could be improved on. And honestly, if you watch his highlights, if you go to and watch his huddle, it's fun to watch right now in high school and maybe even a little bit at Alabama. He is not afraid to truck somebody, and he is a big boy. And he's not afraid to truck somebody, but when you get higher up into the college levels, and especially in the NFL, you don't want to see your quarterbacks do that, right? Like we want to see them slide. We want to see him get out of bounds. So I'd love to see him work on that part of his game as well. While it's fun now, because you're probably one of the best athletes on the field when you're playing in high school, once we see him get to that next level of competition, we want to see that kind of dwindle down a little bit, be a little bit smarter when you're running the ball. Emory Williams is up next, QB 45 in the composite. So again, one of those guys really lower into the QB ranks, but you'll see, I think, when the finals come, if you go watch some of his highlights, he definitely, I think, deserves to be here. Miami commit 3-star, 6'4", 190, touch passes, velocity, and he is very accurate to all three levels of the field. Plays at Milton High School in Milton, Florida. Very, very tough and gritty player. You watch his stuff, and you will see him at times sitting in the pocket and just deliver an absolute strike while taking a massive hit. And he's not big. Look at those pictures. Look at that picture, guys. He's not a big guy, and he's still willing to take hits and deliver that ball. Really smooth, a natural passer, in my opinion, fairly easy release, has the ability to challenge tight windows, and again, shows some pretty good touch to all three levels of the field, displays some pretty good accuracy. His deep ball, though, at times does seem to lose a little bit of juice, and I feel like he guides it a little bit too much at times. And what I mean by guide is when you're throwing it with that velocity downfield, you want to just kind of almost grip it and rip it, and not necessarily have your wide receiver go and get it. You want to show some touch as well at times, right? Like dropping it in the bucket, as they do say. I feel like Emory Williams sometimes tries to guide it a little bit more to that bucket instead of letting it go to the bucket and using that touch. I feel like he tries to guide it to a certain part of the field, and it doesn't always work out for him. But it's still really good prospect, really interesting player. Excited to see what he does this week, again, being QB 45 in the composite. Next up, J.J. Cole, Iowa State commit, QB 14 in the composite, 4-star, 6'6", 227, velocity, big arm, touch passer, and can throw on the run. Guys, Ankeny High School at, or I'm sorry, Ankeny High School at Ankeny, Iowa. My goodness, another really good prospect in this competition. He is, in my opinion, your typical prototype pocket passer. He already has your NFL size and, in my opinion, arm talent. He can challenge all three levels of the field with touch and velocity fairly easily. He can manipulate the pocket when he needs to bail out and throw on the run. He can do that as well. He's still accurate, doesn't really lose any velocity on his throws. He's not going to do much with his legs. I think that's okay, not a big deal. And he's still he's still improving on his release and mechanics. It's looked better every single year, so I imagine I'm going to give him the props that it's going to continue doing so as a senior and moving on to Iowa State. So he's a name that I think should be interesting to watch and could be a late riser here, because he is just, I mean, really a really good quarterback prospect. Next up, Jackson Arnold. Plays at Denton Guyer High School in Denton, Texas. He is an Oklahoma commit, QB5 in the composite, 5-star, 6'1", 198. Touch passer, quick release, live arm, run threat. This kid is just really damn good, folks. Like, he's really good. Quick release paired with a very, very live arm. His ability to throw off platform and from multiple slots without losing any velocity and typically any accuracy either it's just fun to watch. Displays great pocket manipulation and poise. Easily hits all three levels of the field. Not only challenges defenses vertically, but also has that touch when needed. It's just ridiculous. He is a good runner as well, and he is also a player who's not afraid to take on a little bit of contact, as I mentioned with Eli Holstein earlier. My biggest fear with Arnold, as he's not that big. He's only 6'1", 198. Now, he could probably add a little bit of weight on here, but I'd like to see him again, maybe, slide, get out of bounds. We don't need you to take that much punishment. You're good. You're really good. We need that arm. I mean, he does seem to, at times on his deep balls, launch it past his wide receivers. So working on that touch and accuracy a little bit, but still, I mean, he's a really good player. Next up, Jaden Rashada, who just recently committed to Miami, QB7 in the composite, 4-star, 6'4", 185. Pocket poise, smooth mechanics, touch and velocity, and really good anticipation. Plays at Pittsburgh High School in Pittsburgh, California. Smooth and easy release mechanics paired with a fairly quick release. Displays good touch and anticipation throws. Ability to manipulate the pocket. Has the ability to, when he gets outside of the pocket, throw off platform. Displays really good velocity as well on that. Rashada's biggest thing is he struggles with accuracy. It's led to some pretty bad interceptions and misses, whether it was overthrows or just underthrows on his wide receivers. Really, it's just accuracy. He's a really good quarterback. Outside that, accuracy is really his biggest knock. Next up, Kenny Minchey, QB21 in the composite, Pitt commit. He's going 4-star, 6'1", 207. Off-platform throws, consistent release, and pocket manipulation. So Kenny Minchey plays at Pope John Paul II High School in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Minchey displays above-average arm strength in his ability to drive the ball and get it to all three levels of the field. Has some mobility, can use his legs. He's also shown the ability to make off-platform throws. My biggest fear with Minchey here is he doesn't necessarily bring the wow factor or any real elite trait at the QB. He's just really good at everything. He's fairly adept at passing the ball and could work, in my opinion, on improving his release just a little bit. Next up, Malachi Nelson, the top quarterback in this class, in my opinion, and probably the favorite for this competition this week. USC commit, QB2 in the composite. He is a 5-star, 6'3", 180, clean mechanics, velocity, vertical strength, touch, accuracy, natural passer. Like, if I had more room, I'd have put everything on here. This kid is just really damn good. Los Alamitos High School in Los Alamitos, California. The best quarterback in this class, in my opinion. Mechanics and throwing motion are smooth, and everything seems to move just in concert. Whenever he's stepping into a throw off platform, like his whole body, it's beautiful. You want to put on Malachi Nelson throwing highlights to quarterbacks and show this is what you need to do. He's got velocity and touch to all three fields and has a very quick release, displays great pocket manipulation, and rarely seems rattled. While he's not necessarily a rushing threat, he can pick up yards if needed. Seems to prefer buying time, though, and making plays downfield. I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't really have any knocks in his game. He's the favorite, and in my opinion, there's a reason why. I think he's better than Arch. I know some people don't necessarily agree with that. I love this kid. Next up, Malachi Singleton, Arkansas commit, QB 20 in the composite, 4-star, 6'1", 225, arm strength, accurate. He's got touch, dual threat, and pocket manipulation. Malachi Singleton plays at North Cobb High School in Kennesaw, Georgia. He's one of the true dual threats in this class. Displays some pocket awareness, knows when to bail and use his legs, also knows when to hang in there and throw the ball. He can hit all three levels, but seems to have more zip and velocity in the short intermediate parts of the field. My biggest fear with him is he's played mostly RPO offenses, so he might, when learning a new system going into college, which may not change, KJ Jefferson right now of Arkansas does do a lot of RPO. He might need to improve his consistency as a passer and develop a little bit more as a passer as well. Very intriguing prospect. Next up, Marcus Stokes, Penn State commit. QB 22 in the composite. So again, another one of those lower guys. 4 stars, 6'2", 185. Arm strength, true gunslinger, great release. Stokes plays at Nice High School at Ponte Verde Beach, Florida. Stokes, as I mentioned, your typical gunslinger and hasn't really seen a window he's not afraid to challenge. He distributes the ball well in the short and intermediate parts of the field, can play outside of the pocket as well, passing the ball, but not necessarily a runner. Stokes can push the ball down the field, but he kind of lacks velocity on deep throws, and he has really kind of mastered that short part of the game. He can run and get yards, but it's not really a key part of his game. Next up, one of the more intriguing guys, the $8 million man himself, Nico IAMALEAVA. Strengths, plus arm strength, pocket manipulation, anticipation, and he's very dangerous with his legs. Tennessee commit, QB3 in the composite, 5-star, 6'5", 195. He is big. Plays at Long Beach Poly High School in Long Beach Poly, California. Possibly the best vertical arm in this class. I mean, he can absolutely sling it deep and with pace. He has improved his anticipation throws over the past 2 years, and for his size, he has a fairly quick release and has done a good job, in my opinion, being accurate, especially last year. He's dangerous with his legs. If he's outside the pocket, can't make a play with his arms, he can easily eat up yards with his long stride. I mean, he looks like Slenderman out there, guys. He is just a tall, lanky kid. He played in more of a quick strike screen-based offense the past 2 years, so I would like to see them challenge the ball down the field a little bit more. Not necessarily that it's a worry getting the ball down there. It's getting the ball down there accurately, but he is really good. Some obviously have a little bit of worry about his frame because he is so tall and thin. Can he add some weight to his frame? Next up, honestly, one of my dark horses in this competition, Pierce Clarkson, the Louisville commit. He has QB 10 in the composite, 4-star, 6'1", 195. Smooth delivery, off-platform throws. He's accurate and can be dangerous with his legs. Pierce Clarkson plays at the very famous St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California. He has one of the smoothest deliveries in this class. His mechanics are typically on point as well. Now, this may be due to the fact that his father is a highly regarded quarterback coach who hosts many camps, but it's also due to the talent that Clarkson has as well. He's typically very accurate on his passes. He seems to distribute more often to the short and intermediate parts of the area and seems to take kind of measured shots downfield. He doesn't, not going to really let it rip most of the time. He's going to figure out when it's best to go do that, and he does. Really good pocket poise, typically only leaves the pocket to throw, and he does that well throwing on the run. I would like to see the offense open up a little bit more downfield for him this year. If we could challenge a little bit more vertically and see if he can get those touch and accurate throws. And some of that also may be the fact that this will be his first year as a sole starter at St. John Bosco. The past 2 seasons, he's been splitting time with Caden Hauser, who is currently at Michigan State. So this will be really the year for Pierce Clarkson to kind of grip it and rip it. I'm excited to see what he does in this competition and as a senior. Number 19, we got two guys left. Rickie Collins, Purdue commit. Accurate velocity, very good at improvising, dangerous with his legs. 6'2", 194 star player, QB 11 in the composite, and the Purdue commit. Rickie Collins plays at Woodlawn High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Rickie Collins is a dynamic athlete with a live arm. His improvisational skills are some of the best in this class. Pair that with his pocket poise and ability to avoid defenders, and Collins is a dangerous threat on every single play. He gets the ball from that center. There's a chance you're going to score every single play, whether it's with his legs or his arm. He can use his legs, though Collins typically tries to buy time to make a pass downfield. The ball flies off his hand. He shows pretty good velocity on his passes, whether that's from the pocket or rolling out. He displays accuracy throwing the deep ball, consistently hitting his receivers in stride. We'd like to see him add a little bit more weight to his frame if possible, and then just continuing to prove on his accuracy and consistency. But Jeff Brom really knows how to churn out productive college quarterbacks, and Rickie Collins, I think, could be the next guy there. Really intriguing prospect. Last but not least, the last guy at Elite 11 Finals, Zane Flores, the Oklahoma State commit, QB 24 in the composite, 3-star, 6'3", 190, vertical strength, mobility, and decision-making. He plays at Gretna High School in Gretna, Nebraska. Displays some really good arm strength, challenges defenses vertically, and hits some tight window throws. He definitely has the mobility to pick up yards when a play breaks down. If that happens, he can beat you again with his arm, but he's also very good with his legs. It does seem like he knows how to diagnose defenses and typically makes the right read, distributing the ball in the short intermediate parts of the field. There is a lot of talk that he doesn't necessarily play the toughest competition, and we'd like to see him improve a little bit more on his strength and velocity and throwing the ball, and a little bit more on his touch passes as well. That's all of them. That's all 20 guys that are going to be at the Elite 11 this weekend. Malachi Nelson is definitely the favorite. He's QB1 for most of us here at Campus to Canton. Just a really, really good player. I think Dante Moore has a chance to win this as well. Really good prospect. Again, as my QB2, Jaden RASHADA has got a lot of talk as well. But if I'm being on Pierce Clarkson, I think those guys are probably going in as the favorites. Maybe Christopher VIZZINA, though I don't know that he's got enough. Nico IAMALEAVA as well. So it's probably Malachi Nelson, Dante Moore, and Nico IAMALEAVA are probably the top three, the favorites. And I would say Pierce Clarkson and Christopher VIZZINA come in that. Those are probably the top five. Rickie Collins and Austin NOVOSAD are my dark horses. Watch out for those guys this week. I think they're really going to impress up against some of the best in their class. They're going to be two names, I think, when we come away from this week, and a lot of people are going to talk about how impressive those guys were. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be airing this week. It's going to be a ton of fun. I don't know that they'll have it live anywhere, but you'll watch Twitter. It'll be all over that. They'll probably have some of it on ESPN. Make sure to pay attention to us at Campus to Canton for that. This is a big deal for these quarterbacks in high school. Cannot wait for this week to come by so that we can see what happens with these guys. Guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We got a ton of recruiting content, anything and everything college football coming your way here at campus2canton.com. Check out the website as well. We work hard on it. Low barrier to entry, $2.99 a month, and you get the best college football content in the business, in my opinion. Check it out. Make sure to pay attention to Elite 11. We'll be back with some more videos later this week. Everybody have a great day.